Well, hello and welcome to the Best Football Show. I am Brian Baldinger at Baldy NFL, Baldy's Breakdowns. We got all kinds of new swag out there. In case you're interested, we'll tell you how to do that. You can find me at Baldy NFL across all the social media platforms. You can download this Best Football Show, free Odyssey app, and wherever you get those, and like it and subscribe to it. Help us grow this here. Obviously, this is a big news day. Big news weekend, a lot of action. All right, we start the legal tampering period today. I'll be on the NFL Network from 2 o'clock till 8 o'clock today, talking about some of the moves that we're going to talk about here and some others that are going to come down. Free agency technically begins Wednesday when you can actually sign these players. All right, so we'll get to that. And it also kicks off the NFL's new year. So that's March 12th, Wednesday. But let's get to the news. Let's get to Seattle, because Seattle is right there in the middle of everything that's going on right now. They're all the way to the left here on the Pacific Coast, but they are front and center in the NFL because they have just traded Geno Smith, all right, to the Las Vegas Raiders this weekend, and they have traded DK Metcalf, all right, to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that is significant because on the roster right now, they have Sam Howell at quarterback. Whatever you think of Sam Howell, he's there. They have a new offense coordinator, Clint Kubiak. Things did not work out with Ryan Grubb. Mike McDonald's the head coach. This is a team that won 10 games last year, a 10-win team that didn't make the playoffs, but they were close. Geno Smith threw for over 4,300 yards in Ryan Grubb's new offense. They had other issues besides Geno Smith. Yeah, he threw 15 interceptions, probably too many, but still, he threw for 4,300 yards behind an offensive line, which was the weakness of the entire team. So now you trade your quarterback and you trade one of your star receivers. I know he missed a couple games last year because of a knee injury. He had been pretty healthy throughout his career. He's a beast. He's a dog. He beat every number one corner in this league last year. I don't care if it was Surtain or Gonzalez or pick a guy. All right. I mean, Sauce Gardner, he beat them all. Like, he's a true X receiver. Okay. So, but what are they going to do? What are they going to do? A quarterback are they in the Sam Darnold sweepstakes? We don't know what's going to happen in Minnesota with Sam Darnold yet. Presumably, there are some talks to keep him, but also I'm sure they're listening to what other teams might be offering, whether they can keep him. Then you get to, all right, what's Pittsburgh going to do? They just are going to pay DK Metcalf $150 million, something like that, some crazy number, to be their number one receiver. So what does that mean for George Pickens? Is Pickens there long-term? Are they going to play both guys? Because they're both kind of X receivers. So can you have two number ones on a team that has a serious quarterback issue? We don't know. We hear that Russell Wilson isn't coming back. We hear Justin Fields could be back. When DK Metcalf was negotiating with Pittsburgh, and I got a text from the Steelers last night saying we got DK, right as the news broke. But if you're DK, you're like, well, who's throwing me the ball? Because he's had Russell Wilson and basically Geno Smith throw him the football, and a little bit of Drew Lock. I mean, that's basically has been his receivers, Russell and Geno, and he's had some great seasons. Don't you kind of want to know who the quarterback is? Because I don't think Pittsburgh knows just who it's going to be. Can they get Sam Darnold? Can they get Aaron Rodgers? Are there things in the work that allow DK Metcalf to say, let's go? All right? So that's not the only wide receiver news, because we do have to see what the plan is in Seattle. We do have to see who's throwing the football to DK. But the other wide receiver news is Devante Adams. Honest to God, yesterday he was technically a New York Jet. Today he's a Los Angeles Ram with Matt Stafford. I mean, could things be any better for Devante Adams? Could they have gotten any better? You know, he's a California kid. He goes back to California. He's out of the mess with the Raiders and with the Jets. He gets to a stable organization with Sean McVay calling plays, with a proven veteran quarterback in Matt Stafford that had the Philadelphia Eagles on the ropes in the divisional championship game, could he be joining Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, Tyler Higbee, Demarcus Robinson? Could he be joining that group? And who knows what else they're going to do? Like, they've rebuilt their defense and their defensive line. They just gave Alaric Jackson a new contract at left tackle. They found a 6th-round pick to be their starting center. Nobody drafts better. I mean, he gets to play at SoFi Stadium, just perfect conditions for those, for all the releases that he loves to use. I mean, even as bad as the Jets were last year, he caught 7 touchdown passes in limited duty from Aaron Rodgers. Like, he's got double-digit touchdowns in him at age 32. It's a great landing spot. If you're Devante, like, you got a nice fat contract. You're with the Rams. You're with McVay and Stafford. It couldn't work out for any better than there. All right, let's get to Myles Garrett, because Myles made a U-turn. So there was a lot that happened in Cleveland this weekend. Myles Garrett had met with Andrew Berry, the general manager. Didn't really like the way things were going. Asked for his release all the way back to the Super Bowl that week, a month ago. Asked for his flat-out release, unconditional release. Nothing's really happening. He asked for a meeting with Jimmy Haslam, the owner. The owner refused the meeting. The owner's like, this is a football decision. Talk to my general manager. I don't want, and it really, it's a credit to Jimmy Haslam. Like, Myles is just kind of jumping authority, going right to the guy that writes the checks. I get that. I mean, I've done something similar to that, not Myles Garrett, but I've done something to that where you go straight to the owner. Do you want me? Do you need me? Do you really want me here long term when we really build this thing up? Well, they just gave him a brand new contract. He's the highest paid. We just saw Max Crosby become the highest paid non-quarterback in the league on Friday. Myles just usurped that. He's the highest paid non-quarterback in the history of the NFL. They're the first team in the history of the NFL to have 2 players make north of $40 million guaranteed a year in Deshaun Watson and Myles Garrett. Like, they're not afraid to spend money. So I guess maybe that's all it took, was just a financial commitment that he's the highest paid non-quarterback in league history, and now he's a Cleveland Brown. But is it just all about money? Because, man, if I was Myles, I don't see any quick turnaround in Cleveland. And you're 28 years old, you're in the prime of your career, your mentor is Bruce Smith, who went to 4 straight Super Bowls and walked into the Hall of Fame with Buffalo. That's the guy who's been mentoring you. Like, don't you want to get to a winner? Like, does it look like Cleveland can jump up and in front of Baltimore or Joe Burrow in Cincinnati or Pittsburgh? Like, it just doesn't look like it right now. But I know one guy who's thrilled, and that's Jim Schwartz, the defensive coordinator. And so now that Cleveland's got Myles Garrett locked up, they've got the number 2 pick. Presumably, they're going to take a quarterback with that pick. We don't know if the Giants are going to trade with Tennessee, if Tennessee's going to take quarterback. We don't know. But with Geno Smith out with the Raiders, that takes one quarterback-needy team out of the draft. The Jets, Giants, maybe Tennessee, only quarterback. Seattle needs a quarterback. There's Aaron Rodgers and Sam Darnold in free agency. There's basically Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders in the draft. Maybe Jackson Dart, if you listen to some of the people. It doesn't look like there's enough quarterbacks to fit the chairs of needy quarterback teams. So that quarterback carousel, we might get some news today. We'll see what Minnesota decides to do with Sam Darnold. Like, if he stays in Minnesota, which is a possibility, I mean, that puts Aaron Rodgers out there as a guy. What is Indianapolis going to do? They said they wanted some competition with Anthony Richardson. Now, who is that guy? Is that Gardner Minshew going back to the Colts, where he had a winning record 2 years ago in Shane Steichen's rookie season? I don't know. Is Daniel Jones on the move in Minnesota? Questions to be answered. All right, let's Let's look at some players that are staying, all right? Like Ronnie Stanley just signed a new deal with the Baltimore Ravens for 3 years to be their left tackle. All right, good move by Baltimore. They need a left guard right now. I think they'll draft one. Patrick McCarr is a free agent. He basically was a left guard last year. I think Linderbaum, along with Faalele and Rosengarten, is really solid. So Baltimore keeps their left tackle. He would have gone big time. Jamie Sherwood stays as a New York Jet. Great move by the Jets. Jamie Sherwood was drafted as a safety. Got hurt, tore his Achilles, I believe, his rookie year. When C.J. Mosley went down early last year, he's filled in. The guy led the National Football League in solo tackles, Jamie Sherwood. He's now a New York Jet. Good job by Aaron Glenn and their whole group there, Darren Moogie, of locking him up, making sure that he stays with Quincy Williams at the linebacker spot. All right, so those are some of the moves. Those are some of the interest right here. It is pretty fascinating. Josh Allen. Josh Allen is a Buffalo Bill for life. I don't know how much. I don't know. 300-something million, whatever it is. I don't know. Like Josh Allen, the MVP of the league, is now going to be a Buffalo Bill for life. It's pretty easy. Like, you never let these guys get close to getting a free agency or anything else. Like, they've won the division now in Buffalo 5 years in a row. They're the New England Patriots. Like, they are the standard in the AFC East and in the AFC. I mean, there's Josh, there's Patrick, obviously, there's Joe Burrow. You know, there's a couple guys that, you know, C.J. Mosley is getting started, but Josh Allen is the guy. And Bills Mafia don't have to worry about it. They keep buying number 17 jerseys. He's not going anywhere. He's one of the great, citizens of this whole business. Like, he just gets all of it. And obviously, he's got to win. He's got to win, championship games. He's got to win AFC championship games and go to Super Bowls and win a Super Bowl to really validate everything. But every year, he gives them a chance. So, anyways, that's kind of the news of the day. All right. Like I said, we're going to be all over free agency coming up this week. Look forward to talking to you tomorrow and on Wednesday and probably Thursday as the fallout of free agency really hits. The big step before we really get into the draft. And I got to tell you, when you look at, I'll just finish it by saying this. We just saw the 3 Ds move at wide receiver. Debo, DK, and Devante. The 3 Ds have moved. Now, is that a sign that maybe the wide receiver draft isn't that loaded? There is T-Mac in Arizona. He looks like he's far and away the best receiver in this draft. Now there's Luther Bird, and there's guys at Texas. There's some good receivers. We got to see what T-Mac runs. He looks like a fantastic prospect. He looks like Drake London, but maybe even smoother. He glides, maybe faster than Drake London, but maybe even more athletic than Drake. That's what he looks like to me. And Drake London, 3 years ago, was the first receiver off the board, I believe followed by Garrett Wilson. But maybe the wide receiver movement we've seen so far is a sign that maybe this wide receiver draft isn't just loaded. But who knows? We found Puka Nacua in the 5th round. So it's really how teams want to use him. But honestly, with DK going, I'll just finish it with this. With DK going to the Steelers, who desperately needed a receiver. They were all in last year on Brandon Ayuk. They thought they had him. They thought they had a deal done with San Francisco. Now, it didn't work out. But what is Dallas doing? No, that's like, all right, DK's out there. Devante's out there. What is Dallas doing? I mean, where's the help coming to CeeDee Lamb and to that offense? I mean, because if you just played general manager and you said, okay, CeeDee, DK, and go draft Ashton Genty, go draft an offensive lineman. I mean, Dallas could compete. You could put up 24, 28 points a game. They don't, I don't know. Anyways, that's for another day. Look, this has been the best football show. Thanks for joining me. I can't wait to talk to you tomorrow to see all the stuff that happens, because this is Christmas in March. All right. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Look forward to talking to you tomorrow.